Welcome to FCC Supporters Square. For fans, by fans, and about fans. Here are your hosts, Mark Shupin and Matt Warman. Hey, everybody, it's another time for the FCC Supporters Square. I am Matt Warman. With me is Mr. Dude himself.
The bastard himself.
The bastard himself, Mr. Mark Supin. How is it going?
It is going great, sir, on a Thursday. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. We may or may not have a guest. We had a guest that says yes. I'm not going to say who that person is because that person may show up or may not. We don't care. We have fun whether we have a guest or not. So here we are.
He's too legendary. He's too legendary. We really can't afford.
If this person comes, we're beneath their station, so it's okay. Yeah. It's someday maybe. So our main topic is, well, a game happened. What do you think?
Well, certainly, I think the best thing that happened besides a wonderful 2-1 victory. I of course said 2-0, but unfortunately, things at extra time seemingly always happen to this team, and thankfully, it didn't result in a draw or a loss. It gave us a wonderful home opener win, and we haven't said that in 8 years. I'm so grateful for this team. But besides that, the electricity, the atmosphere, the energy in TQL, unquestionably at the top. I've been in some major games. Unfortunately, last year I think it would turn into a bunch of we were flipping off pro referees more than likely than anything. But what a beautiful season! What a beautiful match it was on Saturday. Wonderful time. People were energized. The Bailey was just rocking for 90 plus, and that we just need that the whole season.
A full house, right? Ending in 5-1-3, which I like so much. Everybody should like that. I thought the crowd was great. The march was seemingly huge. The atmosphere, the tifo was great. I love the tifo. It came up. I'm not sure if it was all fully up the full time, but it was fully up enough that I got pictures of it. So that's I think that's like the first time we've hoisted a full tifo on our little hoist system. So
what I saw was obviously I wasn't in tune with the tifo the whole time, but I saw it go up. It was up for just a bit, and then the right side, if you're looking at it, the left side, if you're looking, from in front of it, I was looking from my angle, was the right. The pulley system failed. The tifo didn't rip or anything. It's just the pulley system failed. So we're definitely checking on that to see why that happened. And obviously it's going to take some more work to get a good understanding of the pulley system and make sure it works each time for us.
But it's got to be better than being underneath the tarp for a minute. You're behind the tarp instead of under it.
Yeah, no doubt.
All you can see is white and smoke.
Yeah, but the pictures I've seen from the tifo, it was up plenty amount of time. Good pictures, beautiful pictures. Even FCC put a nice photo of it out there. Congrats to everybody that was worked on the tracing that Matt Adamczyk and I assisted with, and also the painting that so many came up for at TQL Garage. That was awesome. It was just amazing amount of people that came up to show up, including, I think we counted 8 to 10 brigade, and for 8 to 10 brigade to show up, beautiful, just beautiful.
It was a wonderful time. It was kind of cold, and we do the tifo paintings, at least right now, in the garage under the stadium. It's at least dry. I'm not going to say it's warm, but it is at least dry. And I will say, unlike the last place we painted, it's not dusty.
Yeah.
was,
Oh man.
there's about a half inch of dust everywhere in the now torn down warehouse or whatever that was across the street. So there was that. So let's get to our bad takes, right? So I read everything from the new guys were great to, well, I guess we've got some work to do. And so I think it probably falls somewhere in between. What do you think of the new guys and the performance of the lads on Saturday?
Performance, I think, was very good, despite it, having a 2-1 deficit in possession. It did not make, for a lot of good play from us. I think Houston is better than we got. Certainly, Herrera showed himself. Thankfully, 2 visits into TQL and 2 losses. I'm happy about that. No shade to our Mexicano friends, but Herrera getting 2 losses, 1 to USMNT, 1 to our FC Cincinnati. I'm happy about that. But you saw some of the things that were kind of the bugaboo for some of the players before. We just weren't feeding the ball well from the midfield into our front line. I thought the defense, Mosqueda, showed well. Miazga, strong. Arias really provided a lot, provided a lot of stability. Maybe not the forward push I'd like. Barrial, you can't say enough about him. Assisted on the first and nearly assisted on Noboto's goal. To me, he kind of felt like that player of the match. I mean, he wasn't, fully, the player of the match, but certainly the things he did really outshined everyone else.
I think at the beginning season, the one thing I'll say is that when you win when you're not at your best, regardless of beginning, middle, or end of the season, if you can win home or away when you're like, yeah, we could have done better, that's just a great plus. We never had that. I remember the spoon seasons, that's what I call them, where if we gave up a goal or even an equalizer, the heads were down and everybody was like, okay, now what? I thought the first 15, 20 minutes were really good. I think up to the first goal, we looked sharp and crisp, and the passes were not maybe the best, but we were moving the ball and seemed like we controlled tempo, scored the goal, and then we just seemed like, okay, we're up 1-0, we're good. Houston started getting possession, started pressing on us. I didn't think Moreno did very well in passing. I didn't think Noboto, for the most part, didn't do well for passing, at least in the first half. Hey, but you get a goal, everything gets equalized there. That's my bad take, is that there was a large stretch where we kind of dissipated and Brandon wasn't getting the ball up front. And we gave up a goal on a set piece, in this case, a corner kick. Mascara missed this guy. These are all fixable mistakes, but they were mistakes nonetheless. I mean, it's not like a back pass from Austin mistake.
Yeah.
If you hadn't seen that.
Yeah, and I would be remiss to forget or to not say that Roman had a wonderful match. Wonderful match. The saves he made, he didn't need to make many, but the ones he made, well done. He's certainly solidified his starting role and proved that the U.S. men's national team call-up was legitimate. So I'm definitely happy with his performance. Me, for Noboto, he's just going to do what he does. He scored. He was not making many of the passes up front, but his defensive abilities were on display. He really broke up so many of the advances by their midfield and was just in their face the whole time. So I'm definitely happy with his defense. Certainly his offense was the goal, but you barely saw anything get up to Brenner, Elate, or Vasquez Santos. Santos's goal. Santos is doing Santos things, and it's just overachieving, going the full 110%. And I just love how he plays.
You can't coach speed. You can't coach pace at all. If you've got a pacey winger who can score and feed the ball into the middle of the box, only good things are going to happen. And so it sounds to me like Arias has a knock. It sounds like Santos had a knock, but he's okay. So that's good. It'll be good to have a Brenner Santos competition. So yeah, I thought that was good. Apple TV, did you get a chance to view Apple TV, any of the recaps or any of the other games?
Have not gone on as yet, but yeah, certainly I've connected to it and seen it. Seen some of the previous stuff. Looks very good, but I am going to try to get onto Apple TV and see what all they've got out there. I know a lot of people on the Brigade Slack were talking about it, clips and whatnot. But um, this guy's been running around, and I have to say there was a bit of recovery that needed to take place Sunday and Monday ish before I could get my week started. So.
I hear you there. Well, I guess we could talk about that a little bit. But I did bring up the recap. I didn't want to watch the full 90 since I was there, but I did watch the recap. I thought it was good. I thought the announcers were good. I thought the stream itself, Chris 4K. I plugged it in with my HDMI because unfortunately I don't have a TV or a platform that has the Apple. That's the only drawback for me at the moment is that I don't have the Apple. There is not an Apple app like you have Disney Plus or Netflix or whatever. But that
yeah,
looks good.
What we need is more subscribers, and then we can afford all of this stuff. So.
Yes, exactly. Unlimited everything all the time.
Yeah,
That's why we created this podcast, just so
that's
our viewing
exactly.
habits can go up. So we were at the brigade. We were at Nellie's. That's our brigade hangout. Unbeknownst to either of us, 96 Rock was there, and I had actually somebody. We were on there. They're like, "Hey, dude with the cake, could you come up?" I'm like, "Yeah." I go, "Could you do a chant?" I'm like, "That's all that I do when I'm at Nellie's is either having a beverage or having a conversation, but mostly having chants and owing people and annoying people, I guess." But we had a good time. It was a lot of old friends. Unfortunately for the brigade, we had some shipping issues for our member scarves. So I think it was Rusty Thomas. Shout out to Rusty. He said, "I'm wearing my old school," and so everybody wore their old school brigade. The not the brigade, but the Bailey Bastard scarves. I wore my 18. There you go, Mr. Bastard himself. We all wore old school, and a lot of people who showed up we hadn't seen in a couple of years showed up. It was a packed house at Nellie's, which was always nice. We did 96 Rock, and I had a dude that goes, "I heard you on the radio," and I'm like, "What?" I thought that was just internal for Nellie's, but I just
No.
no, it was on 96 Rock. I went, "Oh, okay." So there you go. I guess radio stars in the making. I had the
Well,
face for radio, as I would say. So
well, Matt, I'm sorry that you got onto 96 Rock without a guitar, but certainly with your voice, we've certainly created a monster. Matt Warman with a microphone. The world is going to end with you with the microphone in your hand.
it probably began with it too. That's how old I am.
but truly to come on your point, so many wearing their old scarves. I was my heart was full. I've been with this SG since February of 2017 when I went over to Bucketheads and picked up my Bailey Bastard scarf, and I literally saw 6 of those scarves on Saturday, and that was so great. And then the 2018 scarf, the 2019 scarf, the 2020 and 2021. They were all there, and just how wonderful. We are in our 8th season as a club, in basically 7. Well, they started it in 2016, but they really didn't hand out scarves till 17. But so amazing to see so many people wearing their oldest scarf, and just how great the fan base is with our brigade group.
We had such a great time. I think we should probably make that a tradition, is that every home opener, you wear an old timey scarf, and you'll get the new scarf and the old scarf. You'll have to be double scarf because it's probably going to be February. If we start winning, it might be January when they start playing games. We may have to get a dome. Can you imagine that? The crowd was rocking. The crowd was happy. For non-Bailey fans, I was in the First Financial Club. They had Sammy's hamburgers. I had a Sammy burger. If you haven't had Sammy's, shout out to Sammy's. They're not a sponsor. I'm just shouting out. Those are some darn good burgers.
I agree completely.
We go do a lot of burgers, the two of us. A lot of burgers. We do Burger Week. Seemingly
this is true.
But we do burger. So we take our burgers seriously. That was a good. Sammy's is a good burger, and it was good to have it. So there was some controversy as far as the stadium was concerned. I don't know if you heard, but they were supposed to have a boot full of beer. You were supposed to be able to buy a boot for $22 and then $10 refills, and they were talking about it. Everybody was wanting their boot. And should we have a boot? Should the Bailey have the boot? Should the drummers even be drinking? I don't know, but there's boots, and maybe everybody should do boots after a goal. There were no boots. I like, where are the boots? Apparently they were with our scarves on some shipping crate coming from out of the country, because there were no boots. I don't know how disappointed you were, but I was sadly disappointed.
Well, as you probably well know, having a DOS boot was probably the last thing on my mind as far as imbibement. On Saturday, I was quite puzzled why something that was on the menu all of a sudden was not anymore. And but truly, with our scarves, the Das Boot, the Pride scarves, so much just didn't make it. Saturday was about so much besides Das Boot and scarves. So I think in some heavenly way, it really focused on the match itself and the atmosphere. So we just needed to dismiss the whole Das Boot thing, dismiss the scarves, and just get on with it.
You say that because you don't drink a lot of beer. You drink JMO. I understand why you say that. And I love the sentiment. It's like, wow, we have a good team. We don't have to worry about giveaways anymore. We don't have to worry about scarves. We're there to watch the game and have a good time. But no, it still has to be about Das Boot. We won 2-1, but where was the boot? That's all I was hearing was, where was the boot?
Well, I think our good German friends over in Dianstadt were probably more sad by the lack of Das Boot. But I do
like
hope
how you say that, Das Boot. I feel like you're on I'm in a submarine somewhere with you right now. That's where I feel. Bandit torpedoes, Das Boot is coming.
Well, I do hope next match that I am able to acquire a Das Boot and get the appropriate refills as needed to exacerbate my wonderful experience in the Bailey.
This is why this podcast exists. Yes, there are people who do games. Yes, they can break down the strategy as what's going on. We hit the hard-hitting questions. Where's the boot, and why did I not have one in my hand Saturday night?
Very true.
That is us. That is so us.
Good stuff.
So I guess coming up this coming Saturday, we have our first away match with the other Lions, I guess. We beat them both home and away last year. First time we beat them at any time, and we beat them twice. can we beat them a third time at their place?
Yeah, Orlando has been a team that looked to be world beaters with Dwyer, Nani, and Moutinho. You just had star power, and they don't have that now. They are on the way back up. They are looking up as we looked up for 3 years straight. So, but we can't take this lightly whatsoever. Yeah, Orlando does return many of their players and have a lot of good additions. So I expect this to be another tight game, especially on the road. We had some success last year in many places, but I think that they're going to find the road a little tougher because teams are going to be looking out for us being a playoff team last year.
I hate to do this on this podcast, but I have some facts. Yeah, I know. I'm surprising myself. I read
Well,
that they only had 6 shots on goal and only 1 on target, and the one that was on target was a penalty shot that won the game. So I
yeah,
think offensively they might be a little challenged because they played at home as well. So this wasn't a road match. They couldn't say, well, they played. I think it was the Red Bulls. They can't say they were up in cold New York and offensively challenged. Look at you looking stuff up. I can see the glare of the I can see the facts glowing on you.
oh my gosh, I'm the worst.
Yeah, so they only had 1 shot on goal, and that was a penalty kick. So I think the level of effort is probably going to be as high as Houston. I think the play from Orlando is probably a little bit stronger than Houston. So if we have a game like we did last week, it'll be 1 point at best. But if we start putting ourselves in better positions, maybe playing a little more simply, a little less flat. We had Acosta had a beautiful back heel that started a sequence, and sometimes that's the right play. But if we could just, simplify how we're trying to do things, not try to do too much, and get our offense involved a little bit more, I think this is a 2-1 victory. That's my
Yeah,
bad take right now.
yeah. Obviously, I saw the highlights of the Red Bulls match, and I really expected Red Bulls to be a little better in that match with Orlando, but it was just a. It was, if you thought FC Cincinnati's match was a little rugged, this was worse. You didn't see any cohesiveness much in this match. They were throwing yellow cards out all over the place, and I expected better by Red Bulls, but 2-1. I'm thinking, definitely getting Vasquez into this, Brenner into this. Santos should be ready to go. I expect our full arsenal of frontline getting through, and at least 2-1, if not 3-1.
We need to put Baji in there for a little while so he can play like an adult human that he does. Somebody's try to forearm shiver him, they're going to fall onto the ground again like they did last time we played them.
Oh, that was a monster move that made for a wonderful, uh, almost excuse me header goal by Vasquez last year. That was beautiful, but Baji just slammed it in there, and it just sort of ricocheted off of Vasquez's noggin.
I think after that challenge, he was just angry. That was the angriest cross I ever saw. That was not perfectly weighted and play. No, it was like, I'm hitting this at your face. You better just keep it there long enough
Yeah.
so it goes into the goal. And that's kind of what it did. I think it
Yep.
surprised how hard it came in, but it still was a pretty good goal.
Oh yeah, Vasquez did all he could. I mean, Baji just put it right on him. Just it's
I
not
don't
going
think he, I
anywhere
don't
but
think he had
right
any
at him.
other choice but to put it in the goal. At that point, he's like, "You will
Yeah,
score on this."
yeah. But
So
as
yeah,
Baji
as I
just,
say 2-1. What do you think it might be? A little more. Do you think
I'm going to
it's?
say I'm going to be solid with 3-1. I think our front line. I think the midfield gets it better and we get a lot more push to the front. So I think 3-1 is a good idea. Yeah, I think we're going to definitely hit Orlando strongly.
I really,
So
I really hope so. And I tell you, one of the things that I liked about last match that just came into my head was that we had like 4 subs. This is not the Yopstom one sub, and maybe if you behaved all week, this was 4 subs. And in the back line, Murphy came in. Yuya Kubo looked really good for the limited time, and of course Brenner came in. I can't remember who else came in. There was another youngster, I thought, that came in on for Arias. Or maybe that was Baji. I'm sorry, that was Baji that came in for Arias.
Yeah.
And he looked just as capable, just as dangerous. So it's so nice not to have just 11 or 12 or 13 players, but a full second squad that can come in and give 20, 30 good minutes.
Exactly. Certainly subs came in. I don't think it really changed our ability to attack. I thought things were getting a little better. Brenner was certainly making a little more inroads than Vasquez had. But certainly I'm happy with Noonan and what he's able to see and how he's able to affect the match. It's not going to work in every match, of course, but what he sees is what exactly we when we're sitting here watching, we see, yeah, that's a correct sub to make at this time. So we definitely are in tune with what he's doing, and I'm just hoping this match down in Orlando is 3 huge points for us.
I really love Noonan. So his comments after the game were the fans won the game. The players didn't win that game. The fans won the game. I don't think that's true because I don't recall being on the pitch when they scored. I might have, I might have, but I don't think I was. But yeah, I thought that was good. What I liked was they were late. They were late for the second half. Houston was already out, waiting. You could tell that they let it play out, and I love the adjustments that they make. And I'm sure there was a little bit of backside chewing by the coaching staff because they did come out and play differently and scored actually early, right? 48th minute.
Yep.
If I remember correctly. So this coaching staff knows how to make adjustments, particularly in the second half. What's working, what's not working, and the team responds to this coaching staff, and it's everything we ever wanted.
Yep, you see that in Barriel immediately. Somebody who was playing up under Yopstom and just he was frustrated. Obviously, he came into a season that we were on our 3rd wooden spoon in 3 years. He was very frustrated, but you immediately saw what Noonan did, putting him back in the midfield to like a left back, and just how he's blossomed. He's just come into his own. He's really become valuable to our club. And
I think he's having a good time. That's what I genuinely like about our team is that they seem to genuinely like one another, and they're growing professionally, but you can see they're growing personally as well. You can you feel that nobody's pointing fingers. I think Acosta was that his first year. He felt coming from DC United that he didn't really move forward. It was like him and 10 lesser people in his mind. Now I think he's the captain of the team. We have a lot of leaders on this team, a lot of quiet leaders on this team, a lot of mix of old and young. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So any final thoughts? We should probably wrap this up. So 3-1 Orlando. That's what my friend here says. I say 2-1. I think I want to see what they do offensively. I know they have it in them. I just want to see it. So I'm just going to say 2-1 and be less fanny. So last thoughts from you.
Last thought would be I enjoy the beautiful scarf that's been created and has finally arrived for our supporters group. And I couldn't be more excited about it. I think every single year, the Bastards, now called the Brigade, has hit the home run. We have had the premier scarf among supporter groups, and I believe that wholeheartedly. And I think this year is just the next year's proof that our scarves just outclass. And that's no shade to any of the other scarves that are out there. Very well done, very well designed, but ours just shine brightly and just always have a heart for the Irish tradition and also a heart for this club. So I'm just happy about that.
I know that we've already released, the pieces of that, so you can go out to our website if you're interested, or just wait till we wear a scarf, because we'll probably be having it on a future broadcast. I guarantee you,
Amen.
at least for a little while. I have a couple of thoughts. First, we don't have an endless supply of guests. You don't have to be in the Bailey. You don't even really have to be a season ticket holder. You just have to be a big fan of FC Cincinnati. So if you are interested in being on this podcast, we don't bite much. It's fcc.supp.square@gmail.com, or respond to the YouTube or on Twitter, wherever you find this. I get the responses. We'll get you on here, and we'll have a good time. And one other thing is that every year I put on a scar, my cape. I had my cape on. So many people, so many kind people come up and sign it. People know the drill. People are excited about it. Other people go, "Wait, didn't I sign that last year?" I'm like, "Yeah, new cape." Like, "Oh yeah, that's right, new cape." But some people go, "Yes, it's the new cape," and you come up and go, "Let me sign it." And like, "Here you go." So if you see me around town wearing the cape, not just around town, but if you see me with the cape on, I likely will have a Sharpie. Please sign my cape. We're going to put it up somewhere in the future, and at the end of the season or some point in the future when we have a place to fully land, I guess. We'll have it up there, and we'll have all the years on there, and so you can come and look at your signature. That's kind of the fun thing I have.
Yeah.
So yes, please be a guest. I think we're going to win 2-1. He says 3-1. Thank you for watching. We're so happy to have you, and hopefully next time we'll have a guest. Maybe a big guest, maybe not a big guest. I don't know, but that's part and parcel of showing up and watching this podcast, because we don't know what's going to happen. So I know you don't know what's going to happen, but we will see you next week, whatever does happen here at FC Supporter Square. Good night, everybody.
Good night.